Hello and welcome to Starting Points, where one thing leads to another. And this time I only have one thing that I'm wanted to share with you, one book. And so it's called Lost Wild America by Robert McClung. He wrote a lot of books, and he has a writing style that makes it easy to understand. The book's written for a 6-year-old, book's written for an adult, and the amount of research and work that he puts into the subject is, well, impressive. It's the story of our extinct and vanishing wildlife in one book, to cover the spectrum of things. It's pretty amazing. I got this at a library book sale. There's 7 copies of it at one point in the public library here in Victoria. His acknowledgement says, "The first shadowy concept of this book was jotted down as a one-page outline in the spring of 1955. Now, the book was published in 1969, 50 years, more than 50 years ago. Since that time, 1955, many hundreds of books and periodicals and pamphlets and news items and references added their bits and pieces to the developing idea and work. And so have the ideas and generous advice of many individuals, which he goes on to gratefully acknowledge below." And for me, I guess that's how my idea that I started out to share and talk about trees and things that I'm interested in. And that involves some high points and some low points, and to consider and bring up even some of the low points, I guess balances the picture in a way. Certainly I'm grateful to people like Robert McClung who've written about these sorts of things and informed me. I didn't learn the word ecology till I was 24, and my interest was often strong in the natural sciences, but I didn't really pursue it in school. And I think it's important that we try to follow our interests, and in doing so, one thing will lead to another. Now, I'm going to say share more about Australia, which has really been like a minor gold mine of things that I didn't know. Just reminds me of how little I do know. And so this book does the same thing. It reminds me of how ill-informed I am about the long history that has been there in terms of caring for animals that one found. In fact, in his foreword, he says, "Today, no fewer than 78 different mammals, birds, reptiles, and fish are in imminent danger of extinction in the United States. Some of them, like the American crocodile, I didn't even know there was an American crocodile." And so he starts historically, and he works his way all the way up. The Atlantic green turtle, the dusky seaside sparrow, restricted to the salt marshes near the Space Center on Florida's Cape Kennedy, the dusky seaside sparrow, a dark-colored bird with streaked underparts, has declined in recent years because of changes in its salt marsh environment brought about by mosquito control operations. Now, 7 years before this book was published, Rachel Carson's work on making the connection between the DDT and how that was like a tree. It spread with branches in the food chain. And this bird, well, you might be interested to see how it's doing now. At this point, it was 500 individuals. And I've put a link at the bottom that I've found when I was exploring about it. So there's lots of birds and mammals, and I'm just flipping through the pages so you can get a sense of whales. I remember when I first learned about the overkilling of whales and what that was doing in the 20th century. And then there are things like the muskox, and the I didn't even know there was a Florida key deer. So this book, I think, is, to me, it's a very important wake-up call. It opens my eyes, in other words, to things that I really wish I didn't know, in a sense. And maybe you feel that same way, but I think it behooves us to the whooping crane I knew about, California condor, the ivory-billed woodpecker, Eskimo curlew I'd heard about. There's separately some of these things, but many of them were, as I say, new to me. I didn't know that the snowy egret was used for decorating hats and things like that. I didn't realize the wild turkey was so threatened at trumpeter swan. So I just think it's sea otter. I knew the sea otter, but I didn't realize the extent of it, or the American elk, or the pronghorn, or the plains bison. I didn't realize there was an eastern bison, so there's the beaver. Oh goodness! So the Carolina parakeet I'd heard about, actually. I remember. So it's just I think if you can get your hands on them secondhand, or get them from a library source, the University of Victoria has it in their library as well, you would find it quite a great read. Great read. Let's see if I can be better than that. You would find it quite a informative, sobering read. So until next time, thanks for joining me. Bye for now.